Marketing in a home service business typically has 4 layers. There's the business at the top, the specialists at the bottom, the operations underneath all of that taking jobs, and then there's the layer that connects all 3 of those together. Typically, companies are running 3 out of the 4 of those layers. Because of that one layer that connects all of the things together is why your marketing kind of feels a little bit confusing and all over the place. It's not the ads guy, it's not your content guy, it's not your operations, it's this layer right here. I'm gonna walk you through the 4 layers, explain what each one does. When you have that middle layer, things actually start to change for your marketing team. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to look at the marketing for your own business and understand where you might be missing something. The first layer that you have is the business itself, right? You have a local business, and the owner is the first piece of this. The owner is basically you, your time, your bandwidth, your capacity to involve yourself in the operations. Because at the end of the day, you built this business, or you're very deep in the trade and you understand the way that things work from your perspective. And so that is the most important piece. To understand what the business needs for the marketing team is going to be crucial. So for you to understand that you might actually be the bottleneck and why your marketing isn't working is a huge first piece. The next piece I have here is the revenue. What is your actual target? It can't just be last year times 10. You need to understand the specific market that you're going after, a local area, to understand what within that area is going to help you grow in that business or inhibit you. What are the competitors looking like? So to have an understanding of the revenue goals per area that you're trying to focus your business on is going to be huge for marketing to have a goal to work towards. The next thing that I have here is the offer. And the offer is a really huge part of this because you can't really stand out when you have a commoditized offer. If somebody is doing $59 service calls and the only thing that you can do is $50 service calls, that's not really positioning you in a way that will help your marketing. At that point, you're kind of just dealing with price shoppers. So understanding what your offer is, what is it that you're selling? What is the exact type of person that you're selling to? And how can you position yourself as a company, as a service package in a way that it's hard to compare to? For example, that $59 service call, instead of having a $59 service call, you can make a $150 spring assessment, right? The idea is that you can create a specific type of offer, name it something catchy that makes sense, and now you can't really be compared like what other people are doing a spring assessment. The last piece on this puzzle, which is probably the one that you think about the most, is your capacity. How many trucks do you have? How many technicians do you have? If the marketing really strikes gold and you're starting it flood with leads, can you manage all of those leads that are coming through? If somebody calls you and you give them a 2-week lead time, they're going to call the next person on the list. The next layer that we have is the CMO partner. This is a person that works with the business owner or the business management as a partner to understand, okay, where are we right now in the season and how can we best use our marketing channels to approach individuals? So in the spring, you might have something for storm responses. In the summer, you might have AC tune-ups. In the fall, you might have furnace checkups. Most home service businesses are running the same campaign all year long. It shouldn't be running all year long because let's face it, home service businesses have peak seasons and down seasons. And with each season, there's a different type of marketing that you run. The next piece, and this might actually be the most crucial piece on the list, is the QB. The one that is receiving the call from the business owner, that is reading the field, that is making an audible if needed. This is the playmaker that is basically connecting to each individual manager on each of these individual teams, because within each team, there might be anywhere between 3 to 10 people, is basically calling the plays. Like this week, we're going to be focusing on replacement ads. And let's slow down on the furnace ones because now we're working more towards AC. Or let's run a review generating campaign. Or let's get some testimonials and put that front and center. Or let's run a referral campaign where anybody that we finish a job for gets $20 that they can gift to somebody. Or let's create some ads and keep them on standby for any 90-degree days so that when those 90-degree days start to hit, we can start pushing those ads that say, hey, it's gonna be 90 degrees next week. Or let's target a competitor's name on Google so anybody that types that competitor's name will show up on Google Ads. There's a lot of little things that can happen, and each one of these falls under different teams. For example, the content team is going to have to understand that we're creating something specifically for the 90-degree days. That person should be connected to the paid ads team to set that up. Then the QB will basically say, let's fire those off. Or let's say you want to branch up into another area. So you open up a new address and you start to rank locally in that region. You're going to need your web team to open up a separate page within your website that says we're now in this city. And that's basically going to boost you organically. This position right here for a company that's doing like 10 million, let's say, that's a $200,000 salary easily. That's basically the connector between the business goals and the 10 different people that are experts in their fields that are all working towards that one goal. And the last part of this section is the feedback loop. And that's basically all of your results from your paid paid campaigns, from any organic that you're pushing, content, website. These are all individual teams that are sending reports, and that is synthesized into one: are we winning or are we losing? Are we bringing leads? Are we pushing revenue forward? That information will also come from operations, and that'll also come from business owner feedback. And this is basically the loop that takes what's happening right now and readjusts what we're actually executing on. The execution layer is probably the most familiar for you. You have your paid campaigns, which is Google ads, LSAs, YouTube, meta ads. Each one of these is its own discipline, and most home service businesses have one ads guy that is frankly running all of these poorly and not to the best of their own potential. Organic is your Google business profile, your website, your reviews, your local maps. This is probably where 60% of your calls are coming from. Almost nobody is managing it. This is one of the biggest opportunities that you have. Invest in it appropriately. Content are your videos. Nowadays, it's just videos. Pictures work well for ads too, but it's your videos. And I'm not saying that you should become an influencer. What I'm saying is that there's a specific audience that watches your videos according to their algorithm. So if you have a good idea of what the type of person is that is buying the most from you, say somebody that is into DIY projects at home, make your videos accordingly, because then you'll show up on your page and then there'll be some brand awareness of, hey, I know these guys. Most companies are either posting nothing or posting randomly. Even one post a week will actually go a long way, right? You're still there, you're still in business, and you're still an expert in your field. Then you have your website, your booking flow, your forms, your phone tracking. This is the place where all other channels should be pushing towards. And if it's broken, the rest of all of your campaigns is not gonna matter. And then down here, you have your CRM, your House Call Pro, your Service Titan, your Jobber, whatever the case that whatever you're using. That's your CRM, that's where all of your information is landing. All the leads. But if leads are not landing straight into that place, how are you even measuring your business? So I would assume that this is already in place. But one caveat is that there's a lot of built-in functionality here. Typically, you just buy it by yourself, or maybe they'll give you a rep that'll help onboard you. For the most part, if you don't have somebody that's digging into the actual platform, there's a lot of little things that just testing yourself of learning how to use this function might actually prove to be very beneficial for you. Then you have something called funnels. Now this kind of crosses into the execution layer a little bit, because this is basically where it goes from somebody searched plumber near me all the way to when they actually booked. There is a specific funnels and paths that you can take that individual. Let's say that person searched plumber near me and then they clicked to your website and then they left. At that point, they basically put their information for Google to understand they went to your website. Now with that information living on your website, Meta can also take that information, even though they came from Google, right? So what happens is that you can create a retargeting funnel where anybody that visited your website can now get some ads related to what they went to your website through or for. Or if they landed on your website and they booked an appointment and you came and it never actually turned into a job, or let's say they went in for a $59 service tune-up, or say that person actually went to your website and booked an appointment, now you have their information. And there's a lot of things that you can do with that person, depending on whether they got a low ticket item, say just a service call for free, or if they got something that can potentially lead them to another type of service that you offer. This is where you can start to create nurturing funnel according to that type of person. Now the follow-ups happens when someone calls and doesn't book. Somebody gets an estimate and they don't close, or somebody closes and you do the job with them one time and they go quiet, you never hear from them again. This is where almost 30% of your revenue can live if you do it correctly, and where most business owners are not even looking at. The handoff is basically from CRM all the way to dispatch. A lead comes in, a dispatcher goes out. That handoff is a part of the customer experience, right? If it's a slow, clunky, there's a lot of people involved, that's kind of where people might actually start looking at other people, even though they booked an appointment with you. 4 layers: business, partner, execution, operations. Typically, if you're a home service business that's doing between 1 to 10 million a year, you have 3 of those on lock. What you're probably missing though is that middle layer, right? The one that is calling the plays, the one that is reading the field and closing the loop of information back to you. That's why marketing in this industry really feels confusing. Like it's running, but it's not really compounding. You're just paying and paying and paying. Same effort every single month, same scramble, same strategy and results. You don't need more marketers. Like a team of 5 really locked in individuals can really push your business to 10 million plus. The next phase of your business is really sitting on that strategic layer. But you need to invest in a structure that makes your business feel like an asset, and not like a flywheel that you have to train over and over. If you have any more questions about what any of this means, let me know in the comments.